Hi, Databricks community. In my previous discussion, I had spoken about the Spark execution model, the application being broken down into jobs, the jobs broken down into stages, the stages into task. And we looked at one or two examples wherein the job was composed of just one stage. Uh, but to get a job being spinned up for your application, it really depends on what you are writing inside the application. I showed you certain method calls were giving way to invocation of the or creation of the jobs, right? So what is that and all? Let us take a look. As I have previously discussed, when we are working at the Spark core level, we will be working with what we call as RDDs, resilient distributed data sets. But let us have bit of knowledge on these RDDs so that it will be a good strong foundation for us when you are dealing with data frames later upon. We're not going for in-depth kind of things here, but whatever basic things are there for RDD, they are applicable for the data frames as well, and you can better understand them at the RDD level compared to the data frame level. That's the reason I'm taking these here with respect to the RDDs. Fine. So. Uh, RDDs are the low-level data abstract, as I told, and to create them, you have two different methods. One is parallelize, which you can invoke on top of the Spark context object. The other one that you have is the text file method. Fine. I'm just taking into consideration the parallelize method. And whenever you are creating the RDD using the parallelize method, you can pass on here the data, okay, which should go inside your RDD. Because just like when you create a table, later upon you populate the table with the records and then you go about querying the data. So similarly here you will be creating RDD, and after that you are going to populate that RDD with the data, right? So that data you are providing, and after that you can also provide here how many partitions you want to create out of this RDD. Let us say you want it to be 8, let us say you want it to be 16. So you get to mention it here, right? So these partitions uh, decide the number of tasks we want for our, it's not like we want. So these number of partitions decide actually the tasks being spun up on the cluster, I could say, right? Okay. So let us take now one example wherein we'll be looking at, uh, uh, you know, uh, our application code is going to result in more than one stage within our job. Fine. So RDD is created using the parallelize method, as I mentioned, and later upon you are going to you are going to perform certain operations on the RDD. Those operations are the transformations, and second one is the action. Transformations are lesly evaluated, and actions are immediately evaluated. And previously, I've shown you the example of collect and reduce being the actions because they were rendering the data immediately to you, right? So in the reduce operation, we were doing the addition, but there was no requirement for shuffling of the data, the exchange of the data to do that task of addition, the reduction, right? Because we did global kind of aggregation there. That's a reason, right? At the driver end, overall consolidation was happening. Because of that, there was no requirement for creation of additional stage. But today, let us take a look at uh, reduced by key transformation. Okay, it's not an action, reduced by key. Uh, it's something like group by we do in our SQL, right? So group by certain column we do, and later upon we go about performing, aggregations, the group wise, right? So similar way, it's the attempt here. So let me take this portion. So data is the numbers till 10, and we are creating RDD out of it. And later upon, let us try to count the number of even numbers and odd numbers present in our RDD. So for that, I will call upon here the map, rdd.map, which is a transformation, and I'm taking each element at a time. I am bringing the RDD to this shape. the paired RDD. We call them to pair RDD because we are framing here the key and value kind of the format. So it's a tuple of size 2 that we are trying to frame. And if at all we are getting x modulus 2 equals 0, we are going to treat it as even number. Otherwise, it's going to be the odd number, right? So once it is done, the keys that are there for us are the even key and the odd key, right? So now the groups are identified, at least, right, for us, the even and odd. In this case, it is evident, but when the data is too much, okay, uh, we have to first take care of, bringing the data to this form. Later upon, we can say reduced by key. Internally, this is going to perform the group by key operation. And after that, it's going to do that aggregation over each of the group. So that's the case. So let's not maybe worry too much about the detail, and let us focus upon uh, uh, whether it will result in creation of two stages or not. So this is what we have, and let me take you to the um, PySpark, this UI. Let me, okay, so far no job, right? So far no job because uh, only transformations have happened, right? Transformations have happened, and we have some issue here. Mm, okay, so this thing, right? Anyway, that's fine. That was not a comment. And now let's call upon for mapped mapped underscore RDD dot collect. So collect is the action, and it will result in triggering of the entire chain of the things. So here we are observing. Okay, so this is the one, right? This is what we formed. Okay, odd one like this. The pairing we have done, and reduce by keys are happening here. But before that, let me tell this collect should have resulted in creation of a job. It has refreshed the UI, and you should observe that it has triggered a job, right? And it is one stage only. We are just displaying the contents of the RDD. And now let us try to display the contents of the result. Okay, to get the result, the shuffling of the data should happen. Okay, result dot collect. Let us say this time. So we got the result, and it is refresh and check. So this time you can clearly see. Okay, action. There was one action. That's why we have one job, but that job resulted in two stages because reduced by key is a wide transformation. Wide transformations are something that will result in shuffling of the data, the exchange of the data. Right. So that's the case. Right. So earlier it was just one stage. That's why you could see that we had only four tasks, but here we have two stages. In each stage, four tasks will be there. And that's why we are getting it here as 8 tasks, and all the tasks are completed. But how are these tasks are coming for us? I think I had shown earlier. Otherwise, let us check it. So this RDD that I have created. So on top of it, if I call upon for get num partition, right? You could see that get num partitions. So you can see that it is 4, right? 4. So this is what I was mentioning. The number of partitions, okay, present in the RDD decide the number of tasks that will be launched for each stage of the job, right? So this is a very important information that you should be understanding. Next, let us take a look at for example, if at all you are building your application, what I showed you is in the interactive environment, executing certain statements. But otherwise, let us say you are writing whole of your PySpark code in your .py file. So once that program is written, you will be submitting that program .py file for to be executed over the cluster. So at that time, this is how you'll be submitting it to the cluster. Spark submit. You'll be telling where is a driver code running. Driver code. is basically executing your script that you would have written. Okay, it will result in creation of one process, right? And in that process, you will be creating a Spark context object, and that Spark context object is okay taking care of entire life cycle of the application, right? It is responsible for preparing the uh, graph. Okay, graph DAG I said, right? Directed acyclic graph. So that graph model is created, and it will be helping us getting our task done over the worker nodes, right? So we'll be mentioning where is that driver program going to run, and this will decide the deploy mode, right? Whether you would like to run that driver program over the client machine or over one of the machines over the cluster, right? So deployment mode can be cluster type or it can be client type, and how much memory you would like to allocate for the driver process, how much memory you would like to allocate for the executor process, and how many CPU cores you would like to allocate for each of the executor process, and your program files you are going to provide here, right? So this is how you get to submit. That way you are submitting to the cluster the expected requirements for execution of your Spark application. Y- You will be passing across certain parameters here, parameter values. If you find that with these memory allocation and CPU cores, your job execution is taking too much of the time, then you have to play around with it, right? You may try increasing the number of CPU cores. You can try increasing the number of I could say, right, not number of the size of the memory for your executor and so on, right? So that's a thing you should be doing. So memory related aspects I'm going to talk about in the next maybe, right, a video clip. So we will take example of okay uh, what should be your approach when you have 300 GB of the data to be processed, right? So with those examples, we will look into some aspects of how do you go about I could say, right, calculating the requirement of memory and CPU cores for a given maybe, right, data size or so, right? Okay, um, stay tuned. Thank you.